Overthinking is something almost everyone experiences at some point in life. Whether it's worrying about the past, planning endlessly for the future, or analyzing every detail of a decision, overthinking can be exhausting and overwhelming. But why do we overthink, and what really happens in our brain when we do? Understanding the science behind it can help us manage it better. At the core of overthinking is the brain's prefrontal cortex. This part of the brain is responsible for decision-making, reasoning, and problem-solving. It's the thinking part of the brain. When we overthink, the prefrontal cortex becomes hyperactive. This overactivity leads to excessive analysis, where we consider every possible outcome, even the most unlikely ones. While thinking things through is natural and useful, overthinking pushes the brain beyond productive limits, often creating more stress rather than solving problems. Simultaneously, the amygdala, which is the brain's fear and emotion center, plays a critical role. The amygdala evaluates threats and triggers the body's fight-or-flight response. When we overthink, the amygdala can amplify minor concerns into major sources of anxiety. This combination of an overactive prefrontal cortex and an emotionally reactive amygdala creates a perfect storm for overthinking, where rational analysis and emotional reaction feed into each other. One key process behind overthinking is called rumination. Rumination is the repetitive thinking about past events, mistakes, or problems. Instead of resolving issues, rumination traps the mind in cycles of negative thought. Studies show that rumination is strongly linked to mental health challenges like anxiety and depression. When we ruminate, our brain struggles to switch to constructive thinking, which prolongs stress and emotional distress. Neurochemicals also play a role in overthinking. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, is released when the brain perceives a threat or problem. High cortisol levels can make it harder to regulate emotions, increasing sensitivity to stress. Over time, chronic overthinking and elevated cortisol can affect physical health as well. People who overthink frequently may experience insomnia, headaches, fatigue, and even a weakened immune system. Interestingly, overthinking is not just a negative phenomenon. It can sometimes be linked to intelligence, creativity, and conscientiousness. People who analyze situations deeply may notice details others miss and make more thorough decisions. The problem arises when overthinking becomes excessive, leading to paralysis by analysis. This is when the brain spends so much time evaluating options and potential outcomes that it becomes difficult to make any decision at all. Another scientific explanation involves brain networks. Neuroscientists identify two key networks involved in overthinking: the default mode network and the executive control network. The default mode network is active when the mind is at rest and often engages in self-reflection and daydreaming. Overactivity in this network can lead to persistent thoughts about oneself, increasing anxiety and worry. The executive control network, on the other hand, helps regulate thoughts and control attention. When these two networks are not balanced, overthinking becomes more likely. Genetics and upbringing can also influence tendencies to overthink. Research suggests that certain genetic traits may make individuals more prone to anxiety and cautious thinking. Similarly, childhood experiences, such as growing up in highly critical environments or experiencing early stress, can train the brain to be hypervigilant and prone to rumination. So what can we do about overthinking? The good news is that the brain is highly adaptable, a concept known as neuroplasticity. This means that with practice and conscious effort, we can change thought patterns and reduce overthinking. Mindfulness and meditation are two scientifically proven methods. Mindfulness teaches the brain to focus on the present moment, reducing rumination about the past or future. Meditation helps calm the prefrontal cortex and reduces amygdala overactivity, making the mind less reactive to stress. Cognitive behavioral techniques are another effective approach. By identifying negative thought patterns and challenging irrational beliefs, individuals can interrupt cycles of overthinking. Writing thoughts down in a journal, practicing gratitude, or even talking to a trusted friend or therapist can help externalize concerns and make them easier to manage. Lifestyle factors also play a significant role. Regular exercise can help regulate cortisol levels and improve mood, while proper sleep strengthens brain function and emotional regulation. A balanced diet, social support, and spending time in nature have also been shown to reduce stress and promote mental clarity. It's important to recognize the signs of overthinking. These include excessive worry about decisions, replaying past mistakes repeatedly, imagining worst-case scenarios, and feeling mentally exhausted, awareness is the first step toward change. Once we notice that we are overthinking, we can employ strategies to interrupt the cycle and regain control over our thoughts. Ultimately, overthinking is a natural part of being human. Our brains are wired to predict, plan, and protect us from harm. However, when this natural tendency becomes excessive, it can interfere with happiness, productivity, and well-being. Understanding the science behind overthinking, the role of the prefrontal cortex, amygdala, cortisol, and neural networks empowers us to take actionable steps toward calm and clarity. By practicing mindfulness, challenging negative thought patterns, and maintaining healthy lifestyle habits, we can train our brains to think deeply when needed but avoid unnecessary rumination. Overthinking doesn't have to control our lives. With awareness, practice, and patience, we can harness the power of our minds without getting trapped in its endless loops. In conclusion, the science behind overthinking shows that it is a combination of brain activity, neurochemicals, genetic tendencies, and learned behavior. While it can sometimes be useful for careful decision-making, excessive overthinking creates cycles of stress and anxiety. By understanding these mechanisms and using proven strategies, we can regain control over our thoughts, reduce mental clutter, and live a more balanced and peaceful life.